parallel chords from bar 20 to the end in Sonata 1, which kind of look like they would be leading up to a cadence, but they don't. And there are no clear cadences for any of the sonatas. That kind of backs up and emphasises the fact that there's no real harmony going on there. Melody, on the other hand, he really liked melody, even though it doesn't sound like traditional melody. He's used like motifs and little small cells and manipulated them and used them in sequences, things like that. So if we start with Sonata 1, you've got the G7th chord at the start. That is the kind of motif that does run through to the end sparsely. So it's repeat. He has like these little melody chunks, and then he repeats them. So like in the first there, just come on, get up a bit closer. You've got the G7th chord separated by a rest, and then the other G7th chord. Then it's repeated in bar 4. Then, if I get up a bit closer, the bars 5 and 6 are kind of symmetrical in the fact that you've got this dotted minim chord at the start of bar 5 and at the end of bar 6. And then in the middle section, there's this kind of chord, and then it falls down, chord of a semiquaver, and then falls down onto a crotchet. And this happens again at the start of bar 6. In bar 4, there's kind of small descending scale, and there's a semitone idea at the start of the second section. This kind of comes back in bar 20, where it's being extended, but in chord form, not just like in a few notes. So in parallel chords, it's been extended, that it's been made bigger there and then extended in 2023. And there's reference to bars 1 and bar 4 parallel triads, but and that's a homophonic texture right there at the end, and this creates kind of a cadential effect. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, and then looking at Sonata 2, monophonic texture at the start. Right, because 6-beat motif to begin with, and pitches from the pentatonic scale. It's got kind of a jazzy feel because of the rhythms. So you've got your opening phrase and then your answering phrase, and that's 4 quavers in the answering phrase, and then it's separated by a crotchet, and then you've got it again. And this kind of the strong beat is not used to its full potential by having the rest there, so that kind of weakens the bar, creating this kind of ragtime, like offbeat rhythm thing. And that can be seen again in bar 7 to 8 with rhythmic displacement, creating the syncopation, and the third beat being off beat. What else is there about melody? In the third sonata, the opening statement in the right hand in bar 2, kind of the chromatic little rising passage, is repeated in bar 4 and bar 5, and then it's kind of augmented to 8 times its original value in the second section in bar 13, and then it's augmented in retrograde as well, and extended by sequence a bar later in bar 15. So that's the right hand going through, and then there's the idea from bar 9, has been transformed into a fragment of a rising chromatic scale in bar 17, and then it's been shortened to 2 notes in bar 18. In bar 19, there's a kind of this chord of 2 notes, which is then repeated in bar 25. And this whole left-hand bit here, this chromatic fragment, is greatly extended in bars 19 to 21, which we first heard in bar 17. Then that's a kind of main, like the left hand has the kind of main melodic bit there. Then in bar 22, the right hand comes in with this again, with the chromatic figure, and they're in octaves up until there's the repeated A, which kind of throws off the togetherness and produces minor ninths in bar 23. So, but they don't sound like consecutive octaves and ninths because of a prepared piano. It kind of helps in that sense, because you've got all the percussive sounds kind of getting in there. Then in bar 27, there's an inversion of the chromatic figure combined with variants of the motif in bar 2 to finish. In bar 2, that would be the little opening statement that we heard, but with much longer note ends. And then there's another little variation in bar 25 in the left hand of the chromatic figure as well. And that is pretty much it for melody. Rhythm and meter, I'm just going to go quickly on to, there's lots of repetition used, so if we go on to the G7 chord again, because that's used, like you'll have the chord and then there's 1.5 beat rest, and then you hear the chord again. Then that's also heard in bars 18 to 19 with shorter rests. There's also use of silence sometimes, which kind of throws off the beat. I'll find some silence there. Bar 14 in Sonata 2, that's got silence in. And also the irregular grouping of notes, like in bar 34 of the second sonata, and the offbeatness kind of throws the listener, and the constant changing of meter, like in the second sonata, bar 20 is 3/8, and then 24 is 4/4, and then back in bar 29 it's 3/8 again. It's just constantly changing, so there's no kind of steady sense of rhythm in that. And stresses on unusual parts of the bars, like at the start of Sonata 2, where the left hand comes in with the answering section, the 4 quavers, and then the rest on the first beat of the bar 2, that breaks the syncopation and kind of that offbeat jazzy feel. Whew. Right, hope that hasn't been too rambling, and hope you kind of get something from it. Okay, thanks very much.